Matt Mean here for IrishBoxing.com. Pody Mccroy, half the boxer, half the promoter. You know, a man of jack of all trades, as I can say, really. Well, we obviously seen you in Belfast Day yesterday. A nice day trip up and down. I like the shirt first off as well, looking very swanky. How are you?
No, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It was a good day at the press conference for Crocker Donovan too. And we're looking forward to fresh blood on Friday night.
Just talk me through the cards. You've Jack O'Neill, Alin, Gary Arthurs, Carl Jennings, Lex Weston, and Carlos Pereira making their professional debuts. Both of them. Just kind of get a bit more in depth with. I always want to know like what goes behind a promoter when they think of the name first off. Why fresh blood? Obviously, it's to do with the lads that are there, and it's kind of the new generation, I guess, of Belfast boxing, really in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at Belfast boxing at the minute, it's going through a slight transition period. Um, Obviously, you have the big event with Crocker. You have Anto Lukaci and you have one or two others who, like myself, are probably coming to the end of their careers. And now we're looking for that new guy to take up like the mantle to the main event in the Falls Park with a fill in football. It was Jimmy Conlon that come up with the name. Fresh Blood. I think it's a great name.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Especially for the event and the date of it. So like August, the first weekend in August is the date that I fought on like a lot in my career on big events, and this is now taking a step back, looking for the next guy to like step up to the plate.
Yeah. As in the transition period for Belfast boxing, just to go a bit more in depth to it, like Belfast boxing, in my opinion, is thriving at the moment. You have so many shows, the Devonish, the Ulster Hall, the Girdwoods, the SSC over to Windsor Park. Like it's going through a huge jump up of, obviously a few years ago there was only an event here and there, and now there's a few events every year, Pod.
Yeah, no. But you got to look at like the top of the tree, like where you have like Mick, who's now fighting in Dublin. And they would love to see him back here as well. And then you have Tyrone, who's obviously having his last fight, which is announced. Colin McCarthy's just retired. Um, and then the likes of myself and a few others who have like main evented or been fairly high up in the card, are at the back end of their careers. So outside of the Crocker and Donovan event and maybe one other, like we're going to struggle to get that sort of big night in Belfast, like at the SSC. So we're kind of at the point like that we're now. We need these new guys to come through. We kind of have the Crocker and Anto, and then like below that, it's 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 very it's very murky because there's like as I said, there's quite a few of us who were at that level and maybe just aren't there now, and we need like the younger generation to come through and to fill that void.
Mm. Just get onto the card really because it's the main event. It's the main one on Friday. There's obviously yourself and Mount Dunlop that are going back to back.
Yeah.
Let's start from the bottom. Carlos Pereira against Jacob Maurer. Obviously two Ian Cochran lads. Going head to head. Jacob Maurer, a very very journeyman, good and tough journeyman on the road as well, and a good test for Carlos Pereira to really start off his career.
Yeah, it was actually initially it was meant to be David McKeveney, but a few things stopped him from being on the card. And then we spoke about who's going to take the ad slot, and Ian spoke about then it's Carlos, and I actually know Carlos. He spent about 4 or 5 months in the gym with us with D. And he's a great fella. And he's bought tickets off me to come watch me fight, and I thought that it would be nice to give him the opportunity to make his debut. And from given the opportunity, he's been very grateful. He's been pushing his fight. He's been pushing the bill, and Jacob Mara is coming up, who's also league managed by Ian, and I think it's going to be a decent fight actually.
Yeah. Um,
Um, Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just saying, that's all. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah. And then you got Big Guy Arthur, who's going to come back out against Zulgis, who is
Yeah.
coming off the back of 2 wins, actually a knockout win and a good points win. He dropped Big Fury, like one of the Furies also. So it could be an interesting fight. Big Gary's a big, tall middleweight, big, awkward guy. Zulgis will probably try and push the pace and continue his form with 2 wins back to back. So it's another interesting fight. And then after that, you have Cathal Jennings making his second pro fight on the back of my last card, which I thought he was very impressive in. And he fights Connor Meanwell, who is coming off the back. Yeah, who's coming off the back of a fight with John Boyd in the same venue. He came out flying against John, but John was just a bit too classy for him. And then we have Big Lax. Big Lax is from Donegal D, which is a quarter jaunt away from Belfast, and he has smashed 150 tickets on his debut at the Devonish. Big middleweight, big punching middleweight. If you look at it, at his amateur record, he has plenty of knockouts at a good level. And we actually had an opponent plan for him, and it was knocked back by the British Boxing Board because of his ability to punch.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so we now have to fight Jensen Irving, who I think's a decent fight. He's been in with some good guys, and he's not your like average journeyman.
Yeah.
And then we got the 2 guys doing 6 rounders in Taiwan fighting Kane Singh, who was an opponent due to fight Conor Kerr. And he had all his flights and stuff booked, and we had a look at him. Mark offered him to us, and we took the fight. And then Jack O'Neill, who is fighting a past opponent actually, Jake Pollard. It's a fight that there's very few at that weight, and that's and he's the guy that took the fight. Jack has done a load of tickets, 200 plus tickets, and from what I gather, he's hoping to push on to some bigger shows. So this is a fight that he can get back in the ring. He went like 4 or 5 fights back to back, like quick succession, and then he hasn't fought in a while. So it's good to get him back in the ring. And his last fight, he had a bad cut. So
an absolute war though as well, Pody. A war against Muhammad Wacko.
Yeah, Pollard will come and he'll test him, and Jack will show his class and get back in the ring and back to win ways.
I think Jake Pollard is probably the friendliest journeyman you can have there. So I say he's I say any kind of dealing that you'd have with any journeyman, I say Jake Pollard can top that off. Like he's one of the nicest lads in the journeyman game.
Yeah, obviously, like being around the shows and stuff, I see him and he's always extremely respectful. And he's a warrior. Listen, see the role that these guys play. There is people like me who wouldn't be tough enough to do that, to show up and fight prospects week in, week out, and give a good account of themselves, and very rarely get stopped, and help these guys then progress in their own careers.
Yeah. Like I say, like even through your own career, like you've obviously been in there with journeyman, like I don't think journeyman kind of get enough recognition, to be honest, Pody, in the game.
No, not at all. Like you look at guys like a guy I fought actually, he springs to mind just when you were saying like one of the best journeymen in the game was Lewis van Puch. He's now referee.
Yeah.
And again, a guy who had like 200 fights or something, and like very rarely stopped, shows up every week, fit, ready to fight, and gets out and shakes your hand and then wishes you like good luck in your career. Journeymen are the heart and soul of boxing, and without them, there wouldn't be a small hall scene to help fighters like me gain experience, progress, and take the next step to in their journey or in their career.
Was the plan ever something that you'd think for your second show, or was it back to the Devonish and maybe then the Ulster Hall the next time?
I don't know. I have a great relationship like with the guys at the Devonish. I have a great relationship with Colin Sports, with Jamie Conlon, and depending on what he has planned and what the other guys have planned, and Jay and Mark and the rest of the guys, I just want to continue to run shows, to give my own fighters a platform, and also to help the other guys like Carlos Pererira and like the Guy Arthurs, who were in a position that I was in very early in my career, to where I was struggling to get fights. So potentially I would like to make the shows bigger. My plan in my next fight is to have a real 50-50. I was hoping to make it for this show, but it just didn't work. And then I was hoping then to get the fight that I had planned for this show on the Cracker Donovan card. And again, it just didn't land on it. Everybody wants on that card. So we were looking to make Alin feed Lee Gormley, which looks like we can now get it made towards the end of the year. All being well, both lads have a fight coming up. Theo at the weekend, and then Lee has one in a couple of weeks.
August 23rd, I think it's,
Yeah, so that's a fight that we're looking to make for the BUI Celtic title or something like along them lines. But my plan for Hammer Boxing is to continue to work closely with all the other guys in management and promotion, and just try and help the fighters out.
But back to yourself. Obviously, unfortunately last time at the SSC, I lost against Craig Richards, but I think you put up a good account of yourself in a way as well. Sitting ringside, it was the first time I actually ever seen you fighting. It was great to get that first time in as well. One thing about yourself, Pody, is that you hold yourself high, in class and everything else. Win or lose, and you stepped out of the ring. It's like, listen, it was a loss, but I move on. And obviously that's completely fine. But have you made a decision if the next move is there?
Yeah, Matt. Unfortunately, that was the first time seeing me fight. You've probably seen fights the previous, and you'll have noticed that it just wasn't the same me in there, and it's for different reasons. But I overcame a lot of demons that night, and I feel like I'm now ready to have that one last dance. I don't want to take away from anyone else's sort of like throne who's having his last fight coming on the quarter card, but I do plan on stepping in the ring for one last time later in the year, which we have a date penciled in. So the plan
Will that be on Christmas time at all, Pody?
Yeah, probably early November. Yeah. Mid early November. If the show happens, I do plan on fighting on that and having my sort of like last dance on that. And it's something that I've thought about and thought of the pros and cons, and I don't think I can leave boxing on my last performance, on my last sort of, on the way I conducted myself in the ring. I know I didn't give the best version of myself, and I do want to get in there and just experience that night one more time and leave it hopefully on a high.
Like, you were there at the SSC Arena. Would you like to go back to the SSC Arena for one more time, or would really any venue kind of suit you?
Yeah, listen, any venue. If it was a Devonish, it'd be the Devonish. As long as I get to spend time around my like loyal like friends and family and supporters that have followed me for now like coming 9 years, so be it. But it started at the SSC. It would be great to end it at the SSC, and that is where it's sort of planned. I don't want to give too much away because it's not my thing. But yes, that's if it's a Devonish, it's Devonish. Ulster Hall is a great venue, or the SSC. They all hold a special place in my heart. I have all different reasons on why them venues would be special. Like the Devonish, it started my career because I had a massive feral network in it, and it's a place that I actually still work in. I've never been a full-time fighter, so I've always continued to work at the Davnish at the gym, which is just upstairs. The Ulster Hall. I had some great nights there, some great knockouts there, and then the SSE is where my career started, where I main evented, and where I could potentially end my career.
Pody, on that note, really appreciate you coming on as always. Thank you so much. If you want to just give a brief shout out again to your show that's happening on Friday night, feel free to do so. Tickets, the whole lot. Let the people know.
Yes, lads. Fresh Blood is this Friday. It is sold really well. There's limited tickets with the fighters, and there may be limited tickets on the door. Everyone's welcome for a great night of boxing. Thanks to Irish Boxing for the continued support. One of the first places that they gave me the opportunity to announce that I was a professional fighter. So it's been a great journey, and I look forward to finishing it. Whoop the boys.
Let's go, buddy. Hit that.